The Galactic Council's emergency session had been called with unprecedented urgency. Representatives from 47 species packed the crystalline amphitheater on Nexus Prime, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses that the universal translators struggled to parse. Admiral Vextar of the Korthani Empire rose from his hover throne, his forearms gesticulating wildly. "The motion before us is simple," his voice boomed through the chamber's acoustics. "We must formally ban all military tactics employed by the species known as humans from civilized warfare." A ripple of agreement passed through the assembly. The ethereal collective's representative, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline form, pulsed with concurrence. Their methods violate every established convention of honorable combat. Honorable combat? Ambassador Chen Wei of, The Terran Federation stood slowly, her small human frame dwarfed by the towering aliens around her. Since when has survival been dishonorable? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Admiral Vextar's mandibles clicked irritably. "Your species' recent conflicts have demonstrated a disturbing pattern of unconventional warfare that no civilized being should endure." Chen smiled grimly. "You mean we win? You mean you cheat?" The accusation came from High Regent Zephyros, whose crystalline body flared with indignant light. The Battle of Kepler 442b was supposed to be a straightforward naval engagement. Instead, your forces used psychological warfare. The human ambassador's smile widened. "Captain Morrison played Baby Shark on loop through all communication frequencies for 72 hours straight. The Vegan fleet surrendered not because we destroyed them, but because they couldn't take another verse." A collective shudder ran through the assembly. Several representatives activated their translation dampeners, as if the mere mention of the song might somehow affect them. "That's exactly what we're talking about." Vextar slammed his primary fist on his podium. "Weapons should destroy ships, not sanity." Chen's expression grew serious. "The Vegans were trying to exterminate a human colony, 2 million civilians, including children. Captain Morrison found a way to end the siege without a single casualty on either side. How is preserving life dishonorable?" The chamber fell silent. Council President Mordock, an ancient being whose species had witnessed the rise and fall of a dozen galactic empires, leaned forward. "Ambassador Chen, while we appreciate the efficiency of human tactics, they violate the fundamental principles of warfare that have governed civilized conflict for millennia, such as predictability, honor, the mutual understanding that combat follows certain rules." Mordock's voice carried the weight of eons. "Your species seems incapable of fighting a conventional war." Chen activated her holographic display, showing footage from recent conflicts. The siege of New Tokyo. When the hegemony surrounded the city with their impenetrable energy dome, our defenders didn't try to break through it. They tunneled under it using mining equipment and launched a surprise attack from below. Murmurs of discomfort rippled through the crowd. The Battle of Europa Station, when the Korthani Empire deployed their invincible battle formation, the same one that had crushed 20 other species, our Admiral Rodriguez didn't attempt to match their firepower. She launched thousands of metallic confetti from her cargo bays. "Confetti is not a weapon," Vextar protested. "It is when it interferes with your targeting systems and causes your perfect formation to fire on itself." Chen replied coolly. 7 dreadnoughts destroyed by friendly fire. The remainder surrendered within an hour." The ethereal representative pulsed with agitation. "These tactics are unpredictable, irrational. They defy military logic." "They defy your military logic," Chen corrected. "Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We've had to get creative to survive. We learned that sometimes the best way to win a fight is not to fight it the way your opponent expects." High Regent Zephyros's form flickered with frustration. "But the Proxima campaign. Your forces used civilian merchant vessels as warships. We armed cargo freighters and disguised them as supply convoys. When the enemy fleet closed in for an easy victory, they found themselves in a crossfire." Chen's voice carried a hint of pride. Sometimes the best warship is the one nobody sees. Coming. President Mordak raised a tendril for silence. Ambassador, surely you understand our concern. How can we maintain galactic stability if warfare becomes unpredictable? Chen's expression softened. Honored President, with respect, maybe that's the point. For too long, galactic warfare has been a game played by rules that favor the strong. The same formations, the same tactics, the same predictable outcomes. Smaller species get crushed because they try to fight by rules designed to ensure their defeat. She gestured to the assembled representatives. Humans don't fight fair because fair fights are for those who can afford to lose. We can't. Every human colony, every human life is precious to us because we know what it's like to be outnumbered, outgunned, and facing extinction. The chamber was quiet now, the weight of her words settling over the assembly. You call our tactics dishonorable, Chen continued. We call them necessary. You want predictable warfare where might makes right. We want our children to live, even if it means being unpredictable. Admiral Vextar shifted uncomfortably. But the psychological trauma your tactics inflict is temporary, Chen finished. Unlike death, we've shown that conflicts can end without massive casualties, but only if you're willing to think outside conventional parameters. President Mordak was silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. The motion to ban human military tactics is hereby tabled pending further consideration. He looked directly at Chen. Perhaps it's time we learned why your tactics are so effective, rather than simply fearing them. As the session adjourned, Chen remained standing while the other representatives filed out. Several approached her privately, their expressions thoughtful rather than hostile. High Regent Zephyros flickered with curiosity rather than anger. Ambassador, this baby shark weapon, could it be adapted for non-lethal crowd control? Chen's laugh echoed through the emptying chamber. That's not warfare, Regent. That's just the beginning. Outside the amphitheater, as the artificial son of Nexus Prime said over the diplomatic quarter, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humans had been underestimated before. It rarely ended well for those doing the underestimating. The galaxy was about to learn what humans had known for millennia. There's no such thing as a fair fight, only one you walk away from,